From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon as the markets digest some more retail sales numbers coming in and all the latest details. How are you? On today's Afternoons LA, we go over the latest details on a very confusing economy as several Fed governors speak and they're collecting comments. This is why you have to get massive stimulus. We'll be looking at the state of stimulus today as Congress got major changes for both the House and the Senate. What does it mean for your wallet? That stimulus coming up in just a second. But we had a very confusing 24 hours where Target missed, Walmart beat, Macy's beat, Kohl's missed, and more companies reported minutes ago like Foot Locker, like Williams-Sonoma. Did they beat on the retail sales? It's fascinating. Plus the breaking details on the housing market. Housing market crashing more than ever before. We'll look at the brand new existing home sales for the 9th consecutive month released minutes ago. This is October data. And what did it show for existing previous homes selling in the marketplace? Not good. I'll have the latest details across the board. Plus, we will be looking at what analysts are seeing in these Fed comments from Boulard Daily and also from Bouchard. These are very, very confusing comments left and right that signals potentially that the interest rate spike for December will be a half basis point, not 75 basis points, but that there would not be a Fed pivot. What do we know? All the latest details across the board. Plus, massive stimulus coming to millions of Americans, billions of Americans, in fact, and I'm going to show you how members of you, the Purple Power, are getting it. It's massive amounts of money, $300,000 in checks, 300 different checks, FSCs, and a brand new success story today as well. A brand new success story from another viewer who cleaned up with nearly $50,000 plus this week alone. It's great money. It's FSC. It's Black Friday stimulus checks. It is also Thanksgiving stimulus checks. It is ISC, LSC, and more from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Thank you for joining me on a live broadcast of Wall Street Live on LA3 and Afternoons LA on LA1. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, let's get to the breaking news starting right here, right now, for a beautiful November 2022. Good morning, everybody. Housing data came in and it was weak again. Existing home sales down, new home sales starting down, builder confidence yesterday down. In fact, this graphic is from several months ago, but I can still run the same graphic. Why? Because the data has been consecutively poor. Well, I'll go into that breaking housing data in just a second. Stay to the big second half today. We have massive stimulus checks for you. $300,000 of checks, 300 different checks for you. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, every U.S. state. Big sums of money, very simple to get, very simple to achieve, and new success stories in today's recording as well. That's coming up additionally across the board. Plus, we'll be looking at the latest details on the markets as the markets open today. We'll be Wall Street Live on the markets, what's happening with the Dow, the NASDAQ, and also what's happening with the Treasury yields in view of the latest details on the retail markets. This is what we start with right away. Target is still rippling the markets days later because Target really missed dramatically in those third quarter earnings released earlier this week. Miss on top, miss on bottom, top revenue, bottom earnings, 50% down compared to the prior quarter. Ouch. Now, when you jump over to Walmart, they had a major beat. So Target missed, Walmart beat. It wasn't just those two folks. When you went over to Macy's and Kohl's yesterday, Macy's had a gangbuster, wonderful third quarter. Kohl's did not. And so this is the kind of narrative we're dealing with, that suddenly this is a very confusing economy. You see demand destruction occurring because of what Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve is doing at some businesses, but not all. Let's look at the numbers of the ones that came in just minutes ago. Again, this is Wall Street Live and also Afternoons LA on this channel. Holidays LA will return tomorrow across the board. 60% of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck, says a brand new report. More consumers who historically managed their budgets comfortably are feeling the financial strain and the impact on their spending behavior during this holiday season, says Anunaya, Lending Club's financial health officer. So he says discretionary spending is no longer available. That's exactly what they said when the Target numbers were released. But let's look at some brand new numbers today on Wall Street Live. Foot Locker shares are up 14%. The shoe seller saw massive beat on top and bottom in their third quarter earnings released minutes ago. The apparel and footwear retailer also had such a great quarter that they raised outlook and forecast for the whole rest of this year. So hold up. You have Macy's really bad. You have Kohl's revoking, canceling their full year-end forecast yesterday, and then you have Foot Locker doing the absolute reverse, saying we had such a great quarter. We're actually raising our full year forecast. We're keeping it in place, and we're actually raising it. Gap. What do you think happened at Gap? This one was the one that I had to look at twice. And I'm still looking at it right now. Do you think Gap beat or do you think Gap missed? Now, remember everything that went on with Kanye West with Gap. Remember all the problems about consumer demand. Do you think Gap drew or did not drew? Before you answer that, jump in the live chat, Gap beat or miss. I want to go over to something a little bit more obvious. Williams-Sonoma, that's higher end market. Williams-Sonoma is not a Dollar Tree, it's not a Dollar General. So if you see a Macy's beat, maybe you think, oh, Williams-Sonoma really beat because that's even more higher end than Macy's. Well, no. Williams-Sonoma slumped 8.1% in pre-market trading, as it said it would not reiterate outlook for the next year because of economic uncertainty, but it did report better than expected earnings and profits for the latest quarter. So they did beat on top and bottom, but they're a little bit worried about next year. This is what we're hearing, folks, in the marketplace. We're hearing that the real high-end market is holding up quite well, and that the low-end market not so well across the board. But you can't generalize, because remember, Walmart beat and did really well. Walmart did really well, and Williams-Sonoma did really well. And then things in between didn't particularly do that great or were inconsistent. So you can't really generalize. Very, very fascinating. How about Ross Stores? If you think Williams-Sonoma beat, do you think Ross Stores missed? Because Ross is lower in the market consumer than a Williams-Sonoma. Well, no, Ross Stores beat top and bottom, up 17% in pre-market trading right today. So let's go back to that Gap number. Gap is sort of middle of the market. Do you think they missed or did they beat? They actually beat. 5.1% up, that stock trading right now on Wall Street Live. Wow. So when you look at the cumulative narrative of those companies, most of them beat, very few miss. The ones, of course, that missed were Target and Kohl's, and the vast majority of them really beat, and some of them beat really dramatically. Fascinating across the board. Not beating is the housing. The housing is not doing well. You see that housing drop number? Well, here we go. Sales of existing pre-homes fell 6% compared to the month of September, according to the National Association of Realtors. This is the slowest pace of housing since December 2011. Of course, that's the last recession. Sales are down at 29% year to date, and sales were down substantially on a monthly basis. The median home price in America was actually up 6.6% compared to the prior year, but the sale price is dropping dramatically. Inventory levels are still tight, which is why some homes for sales are still receiving multiple offers. In October, the housing data revealed that homes sitting on the market are there For longer periods of time. They are now going from 20 days on the market to they're sold to 120 days to get sold. Wow. And that the average price of the home has been now reduced by 15.8%. But yesterday we saw some of the data on the housing numbers that was actually worse across the board. The other thing we're dealing with right today, and I got to tell you, this is the story that everyone's talking about. Everyone is talking about this story, is these Federal Reserve governors suddenly, after months of really keeping their narrative in place and keeping the same script on point, they're digressing. In just a very short period of time, we have now had Mary Daly, the Fed governor out of San Francisco. We have had Bullard, the Fed governor out of St. Louis. We've had Wallace have fascinating comments, and they're all very, very different in just a short time. I should say Waller. Fed Governor Christopher Waller said that he is open to reducing the interest rate spike per month, but other than that, he doesn't have a lot of other things to know at the moment. He says, looking forward to the December meeting, the last few weeks, it has made me more comfortable to considering, not doing, but considering a 50 basis point hike instead of 75 basis point. But I won't be making a judgment about that until I see the PCE number, which is December 1st, of course, featured live on this channel. That is the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. The welcome news, we must be cautious about reading too much into one inflationary report. I don't know how sustained the deceleration in consumer prices will be. Stop right there. He says that prices have decelerated substantially. Do you agree? I don't agree. In fact, the other Fed governors don't agree as well. So I don't know what he's looking at to seeing there's a massive deceleration of price points in the last month. I don't know what the world is he talking about. I cannot emphasize enough that one report does not make a trend. I don't see a trend down. What trend? I don't see a trend down. I'll pull the CPI data with you in 1 second, but I don't know what he's talking about. He says there's a trend line down. He says there's a trend line. He says there's a 1 month of data down, and that doesn't make a trend. Well, I don't even see a 1 month down. I see a 1 month up. The trend is up. I don't see it trending down. Here's Bullard. So far, the changes in monetary policy appear to have only had a limited effect on observed inflation, but market pricing suggests disinflation is expected in 2023. Yeah, they just conflicted each other. They just contrasted each other. Here is Bullard saying that the prices will come down next year, and that what they've done this year with interest rate spikes hasn't really worked yet, hasn't been felt yet. And that's totally different than Waller. I mean, it's shockingly different. Let's go to a third governor. Third governor is Mary Daly out of San Francisco. She said she went to the marketplace. She went into talking to the landlords and renters, and she saw the rent is going down across the board. She's in San Francisco. I mean, of all places, she says the rent is going down. And yet, that's not reflected in the current data. Now, she's using live data. She's not using delayed data, but the delayed data, the CPI released just last week, show that the rent is up the largest rise in 1 month since 1990. That is up substantially year to date. That the rent is actually up 0.1%. Almost 1% across the board. So I'm just very perplexed by these people. Suddenly we have gone from hearing them say that they're in agreement that'll be 2% as the point for inflation to be gotten. Number two, that they need consecutive months of 2% inflation. Number three, that they're using the PCE and the CPI. And now they're just all over the place. And now they're starting to say, well, one saying inflation is starting to come down a little bit. Others saying, no, it has not. Others saying that maybe we have a trend we're down. I just don't know what the world they are looking at for that data. Because here we go. Let's pull the CPI from 11/11. The Consumer Price Index for the month of October, and I got the data for you right now, actually increased. It didn't go down. It increased 0.4%, 7.7% compared to the prior year. Of course, the headline numbers were up. Let's look at the component parts. What was down in the latest CPI inflationary report? Only 3 things were down: medical, used cars, and apparel. So why are these Fed governors talking about a great report, a promising report, not a trend line, but showing the potential of a trend line? What? used car sales were down and apparel is down. Look at like everything else that was up. And when it was up, I gotta tell you, it was up a lot. This is very dangerous, this sort of generalities that some of these Fed governors are saying. Let's look at rent, up 0.8% in the latest CPI, up 7% year to date. Let's look at oil, fuel, this is utilities, up 20% in 1 month and up 70% year to date. Let's look at food, up 1% in the current month and up 11% year to date. I don't know what they're seeing that's down in the latest inflationary data. It doesn't make sense to me because they're clearly not leading with data. They're leading with, well, it's a little bit weaker. It's a little bit less high than we expected. Let's say that again. It was expected to go up, inflation, but it didn't go up as much as it's supposed to go up. Okay, that doesn't mean you're going down. It's like, okay, are we going to go this way? Or are we just going to go this way? Well, we still went up with a finger. It wasn't a down month. And there's nothing really downward trending except used car sales. And that's not enough to gauge inflation. And that's really, my friends, why you had to get all this incredible stimulus. It's a very, very confusing economy, and it's an even confusing federal governors. Imagine what it's doing to everyone else. Big stimulus is available right now. And the value of the membership of this channel suddenly went through the roof because this is the stimulus that's here. This is the stimulus that is staying. This is the stimulus that is live. This is the stimulus that's paying this week for Black Friday, for Thanksgiving. And this is the stimulus that viewers are getting. Whether you're not a member of this channel and waiting for stimulus on the horizon, you better not wait because that wait time is not looking good. I'll explain to you why in the big second half. This is looking great. And it's 3 categories of checks. Federal stimulus checks, FSC, nearly 300 of those checks, $300,000 of money for you to get. How do you get it? You become a member. Go right in this video. Then inflation relief stimulus checks, ISCs. They're great. They're from your states, nearly $1,000. Next up, a lifetime stimulus. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. And in today's recording, we're going to analyze all that and more. We're going to go over every single check that you can get as a member of this channel. Welcome to brand new members of this channel. And let me show you what happens when you become a member. Kimberly Romano is a brand new member. She is not the other view out of Florida. She is not this person. She's Kimberly. She is not Frank Mancuso. But read Frank Mancuso's graphic right here as I tell you Kimberly Romano's success story. Frank Mancuso, on the graphic there, it says 18 months of mortgage, 18 months of utilities, 18 months of high-speed internet from check B. I mean, folks, that's $10,000 right there in less than 1 month of just paying a few dollars to become a member. That's Frank Mancuso. Here is Kimberly Romano. Compare this to Frank Mancuso. She says, I want a share of all the Purple Hawks. I just applied for check B in March, and I just got approved in August. And I got approved for 18 months. Sound familiar? Yeah, 18 months of HOA fees at $360 a month. Wow. And 18 months of utilities. Insane. So hold up. If you have 5 utilities bills a month, and then you have your HOA fees of $360, folks, that's about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. $4,000 or $5,000 a month times 18 months, folks, that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. That is over $50,000. It's unclear how much your utilities are a month. Kimberly, if you're watching, send me a private message. I want to know how much your utility bills were. Because that, folks, is tens of thousands of dollars, close to $100,000. Then she also got on top of that $4,000 of her property taxes paid as well. That was past due. She's not done there yet. That's all just check B. She also went and applied for check A. That's how she do it. That's how you do on this channel. You keep on getting stimulus. And she recently applied for check A. And I was so elated when I got the email about my approval. Kimberly, how much did you get for check A? I want to know that as well. Margaret Owens, also brand new success story. She got $600 more for utilities, and that is on top of the thousands of dollars Margaret has gotten for this channel. She's looking at she says that's like about 6 more months that she's looking on potentially getting for utilities this week. Wow. This is what viewers are doing. This is what you should be doing. Going right on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcito VIP. Let's look at those incredible checks by looking at the first 3 checks of those FSCs starting right now. There are 3 categories of checks, but the first ones are federal stimulus checks, FSC, from the President and Congress. What are they? How do they happen? What do you need to know? Let's look at them right now. The first three checks of FSCs, A, B, and C, were passed by the President of the United States in the month of March. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. Yes, $100,000. Three checks passed by the President by executive action in March. You go get them. How do you get them? You go right on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, join this channel. Then go down the membership newsletter delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and get those incredible check A, B, and C. Don't worry, I'm going to go through all this with you over this 1 hour broadcast. Stay the big second half. Then came Congress, and after these check A and B and C were done, they passed more checks, bringing us to hundreds of checks. And you want to pounce. Those hundreds of checks, E through K, are coming up also later in this recording. All for you, the Purple Power. Then I found you check L and M on the newsletter. M and O, N, and P and Q. That newsletter is 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You go down the newsletter and apply for these incredible checks because they've been passed. They're for you, the Purple Power. And that's why viewers of this channel are cleaning up. With hundreds of thousands of dollars being obtained by Purple Power members of this channel, do it right today. Become a member and get these incredible sums of money. What are you watching? You're watching LALATE, America's #1 most watched financial news channel in America for this subject matter. #3 overall in all financial news recording. Now with 3 channels, LALATE1, LALATE2, and LALATE3. LALATE1 was the original channel. LALATE2 features more about stimulus and also humor, with Sirloin for Javilate and Blaine66 back on every night on this channel, and brand new humor programming coming from other characters as well on evenings on LALATE2. On LALATE3 is Wall Street and also food. If you're up early this morning, you're watching me live on LALATE3 on Wall Street Live, where I give you the latest of the markets as the markets open. And then more food programming new food programming is coming to LALATE3 as well. Go into this video, join this channel or join any of the 3 channels, and get that membership newsletter delivered from all 3 channels to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and get these massive stimulus monies across the board. Let's go back into the breaking news that we're looking at right now. And that breaking news really is the confusing data for those retail numbers. I mean, how more confusing could that be? When you see that Gap and Macy's, Walmart, and Foot Locker all beat, they're very, very different companies, very, very different consumers at those stores, and yet they're all beating. So potentially the discretionary spending might be there, but not bounds left and right. And then those Fed governors really can't really agree upon the markets either. Do you find this very conflicting? I find it very conflicting. I find the apparel retail sales numbers coming in with some beating, some missing, that are very, very similar companies confusing. I find the Fed governors right now getting very confusing because they're looking at the different data points. They're doing different predictions and they're doing different analysis. The only thing that's not confusing is housing, because housing is just a mess. Housing is in a massive crash. That is the only thing that's very consistent across the board. Oh, there's one other thing that's consistent. Stimulus. Let's continue with those big stimulus checks. Those big stimulus checks we're going to pick up with first are checks A, B, and C. Great money. And that's what you want to do. Let's look at that check A. It is $6,500 to $12,000, a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And this is the check that Barbara Romero just got. Spelling got it as well. How do you get it? You go on this video, become a member. Welcome to the brand new members of this channel who have joined at any of the 3 channels in the last 48 hours. Nearly 100 new members every 48 hours. Join this channel. Get this money right today. Do not wait. The money will not be around indefinitely. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Then go down that membership newsletter. Delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And apply for check A. You're not done there yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is the check that led Romano, I'm so sorry, I'm always putting an R in there, Romano, to a whopping 18 months of check B. Barbara Romano got nearly, I'm trying to run the numbers on this, 4 utility or 5 utilities a month plus her HOA fees. Folks, that's $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And she's getting 18 months of that. I mean, that's incredible. That is close to $100,000 right there alone. It may be a little bit less, but it's definitely more than $40,000. Then we have Frank Mancuso. Frank Mancuso runs the numbers for us. Here he goes. So he got check B, 18 months of mortgage, 18 months of utilities. Well, there you go. Same story again. 18 months of mortgage, 18 months of utilities. Folks, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, it has to be at least $10,000. It could be even more. And then we had another viewer out of Florida. She got 18 months of 5 bills per month. That clearly for her was $80,000 to $100,000. 3 different viewers. Very, very similar success stories. The numbers are almost the same. Go into this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get these incredible checks Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you want tens of thousands of dollars? Well, that's where the stimulus is located. Go get it. Do not wait. Become a member right this minute. We're not done there yet, because then you're going to go get some Check C. Check C is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And Check C is absolutely incredible. You go down the membership newsletter, it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. It's for rent, utilities, and more. And those success stories for Check C have been on this channel for nearly 2 years. LALATE started covering Check C nearly 2 years ago. And let's look at these sums of money. They were expanded by the executive action of Joe Biden this year. $30,000 of rent. Want it? Go get it. Look at these success stories. How about $15,000, $18,000 of utilities? Go get it. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. There's Mark. Lynn Glenn got 14 months of utilities. Another viewer, 12 months of utilities. 2 viewers, 12 months of rent of this last month. Snap, $250,000 for 10 years for Mark's brother-in-law. Combinations of checks. Nisi went from $22,000 to $50,000. Mark went from $32,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 to $166. Lorraine, she was at $105. She went to $155. Why would you not become a member? $150,000, $100,000. See, this number's happening all the time on this channel. This is the incredible success of the Purple Power. Purple Hawks, Purple Power, Casino VIPs. You go into this video right this minute. Join the channel. Become a member. Then get that membership newsletter delivered from me to you. Watch that time again. 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Delivered via the YouTube alerts. You go right down, apply for check A, B, and C. And get ready, because after the commercial break, I'm going to show you more checks to apply for it in that same newsletter. What do you need to do? Subscribe, join the channel, and also hit that bell at the front of the channel to have all alerts set to all on. Meantime, make sure you go over to LA2 and LA3 if you're not watching that right now. Subscribe to them. It's totally free to subscribe. And hit the bell so you have all notifications set up to all on, so that you won't miss extra shows, a brand new series premieres, a brand new programming coming to those other 2 channels. Like this show, Wall Street Live, today on episode 2, currently airing live on channel 3. There's a lot of money and a lot of information, and that's why this channel has done so well, because information leads and the people turn to the platform to learn here more than anywhere else. You're going to get more information in a 1-hour broadcast on LALATE than you're going to get anywhere else, because it's condensed. And I talk quickly. In the big second half, we continue with more about this incredible stimulus, picking up with those FSCs. Then we go into inflation relief stimulus checks, lifetime stimulus checks. And then we'll go back over to what happened with Congress and why the developments in Congress this week made your membership in this channel so hideously valuable. I'll go over all that great news in just a second. Plus, we'll jump back into the markets and look at where stocks are trading right now. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Wall Street Live and Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities.
That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now on a big, beautiful Afternoons of Afternoons LALATE, Wall Street Live. How are you doing? The markets are actually up right now on the belief that there might be a softening of Fed policy. Heard this before? You've heard this before. It happens every darn month. Every month going into the next FOMC meeting, they say, oh, maybe the Federal Reserve is going to stop raising rates. But they're not going to stop raising rates. That they all agree upon. What they're looking at about is something I don't really cover on this channel called the Fed funds rate. And they're thinking that maybe they're going to do that, leave that a little bit higher than it currently is. Not any restrictive policy that impacts you. No, it doesn't really concern you directly. And that's what they're looking at. But let me give you the translation. The translation is it's nonsense. The nonsense. Because the Dow is up 182 points right now. The NASDAQ is down 17 points right now. And that is based upon a 150-point jump course this Friday, based upon the belief that maybe the Federal Reserve will change monetary policy. True or false? No, it's not true at all. The Federal Reserve is likely to do 50 basis points in December. It says 75 basis points, but that's not something to rally up the markets a lot. I think it's just a little bit of the Santa Claus Rally, which is coming up later in this broadcast. Let's continue with this big stimulus, and congratulations to all the wonderful viewers who are in the live chat. I saw you during the commercial break. I'll jump in with you in just a second. We'll interact. The continuation of those FSC checks are huge. Check E, $7,500 stimulus check. Go get it. Check F, a $4,000 stimulus check. Wow. These are all in the membership newsletter. Check G, 30% off. Check H, $2,000 off. Wow, incredible. Check I, $8,000. Check J, $8,000 stimulus check. And check K, $14,000. The next check is L, $100,000 an average of loan interest-free money. M, $4,000 of grant money. And then we go over to stimulus N. You know, I had a really nice message from Dragon, one of the triple members to all three channels and longtime volunteer. She said, why would someone not get stimulus N? Stimulus N is the easiest stimulus on this channel to get. It's a brand new tablet. It's a brand new computer. It's a brand new laptop or free internet. Absolutely. This is the one that Frank Mancuso got, then Spelly got, then Ling Glen got. It is just absolutely incredible. And Dragon makes a good point. It's a very, very, very easy stimulus one to get. Do you want a brand new tablet? Just go get it. And they just send it right to you. It's so simple. Stimulus O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs, and no credit check required for a brand new mortgage. Stimulus P, which is a refi for 3% and an $8,000 of free closing costs. Wow. What do we know about these FSC checks? First, they're from the federal government. They pay it, they administer it. That's why it's in every U.S. state and every U.S. territory. It's federal law. It will not be revoked by anything that happened in the midterm elections because federal law. Number two, the largest check, $100,000. The smallest check, $8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny getting $45,000 in 2 days. Checks for the home, like home repairs and also new appliances. Items around the home, like a computer, tablet, internet, and also more. And then we got the card. Just a lot of wonderful stuff in this incredible incredible FSCs. 300 different checks, $300,000 of them. How do you get them? You go on this video, join the channel. Join LATE 1, 2, or 3, then get that membership newsletter from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and go right in and apply check after check after check. But you're not done there yet. Next up is ISC, Inflation Relief Stimulus Checks. They are from your state, and once you get them, they're wonderful. About $1,000, number one. Number two, automatic direct deposit. All the details of each check is in the membership newsletter down at check D, like donut. You click the button, and then it'll list the state, and it'll list the amount of the check. In fact, it'll list how to track the check. And that is ISC checks. Those are from the state. Again, Congress can't revoke that. That's state law, not federal law. And the final one is lifetime stimulus checks. These are from the Social Security Administration. So again, this is not anything that Congress could change whatsoever either. Lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. How many raises are you likely to have across the board? You're likely to have 5 raises. Wow. 5.9% raise last year, 8.7% raise next year. That's on top of the 5.9. I should say 4 raises. And then a raise the year after that, because we now know from the Federal Reserve governors that there will be inflation next year, 2023 and 2024. So you're going to get 2 more raises. So by the 4th year, you're going to have 4 raises. And by the 4th year, guess what's going to happen? The price of goods is going to be the cheapest of a generation because it's going to come down as inflation is wiped away from this economy. Suddenly, the prices will be the cheapest as bit of a generation, and the amount of money you're getting in the wallet, the most of a generation. Wow. That is incredible great news. Now, with that, let's turn to the developing details of what happened this week in the Congress. And I want to touch on this a little bit more so you understand it. I won't be doing this indefinitely, but I want you to understand it for now because it is so important to understand why you are separate and apart from everyone else. The Purple Power is a community I established on this channel to teach people how to empower themselves financially, how to pounce like hawks before things get worse, to pounce and get money when it's available. You've been doing a great job. Every month, thousands of members of this channel are pouncing in and getting money. What you're not doing is what non-Purple Power members do. Non-members just sit around and wait for things to happen. And that sitting around to wait things to happen is now going to really smack them in the face. Let's look at what's going to happen. Next year is going to be the financial cliff. Next year is going to be the real heart of the recession. Next year is when the data is going to be much weaker in the economy. And guess what's also going to happen? Next year is when those people who just sort of waited around, who are not part of this community, are going to learn that this Congress is not going to pass anything for them that they were looking for. They're going to repeat words, and I see them sometimes, on social media. I see them sometimes sending me private messages. They say things like, will there be another recon? No, there is not a recon unless the same political party controls both bodies of Congress. There's not going to be another recon. People asking me questions about, well, isn't there another CR coming up in December? There is another CR coming up in December. Will they put a stimulus check in the CR? Unlikely across the board. The runoff election for Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock is not that critical because the Democrats have enough seats in the Senate that they don't really worry that Warnock wins or loses because they do have enough seats already. So they don't really have to anchor anything with a stimulus to get you to vote for Warnock as much as we originally thought. Number 3, the priorities of the Republicans and the Democrats are very, very different at the moment. And while they are likely to pass stimulus, you heard me right again, they're likely to pass stimulus. It's likely not to be the stimulus you're anticipating. Republicans like business stimulus. They like EIDL grants and EIDL loans and PPP, which a lot of my viewers love as well. Small business grants for small independent contractors like artisans or plumbers or painters. Yes, that could be for you. Democrats like stimulus for low-income families and children and things for medical assistance like Medicare and dental and vision. Very, very different priorities. Those 2 different priorities are so dramatically different that I don't know where the meeting of the minds will be because they're very, very different. If you're saying, I'll give you a $5,000 grant to a small business owner, and the other person saying, I want vision for an elderly person, they're 2 different, very different ideologies. And I don't see how those 2 ideologies merge at all. And so what's important to understand is that this channel, this community, these three channels, the Purple Power community, it's going to go through the roof because this is stimulus for 2023. This FSC, these ISCs, these LSCs, this is stimulus for 2023. I'll always find you more FSCs, I always will. But this is stimulus for 2023. Thinking that there's something else on the horizon that is different than what I'm recording right now is wishful, but there's no indication of it at all. I mean, there's not even a glimpse of it whatsoever. This is the reality. And that's why we lead with reality across the board. Let's jump back into the markets right now and let's look and see what's going on across the board. So the market's up based upon the confusing comments from those Fed governors. I would not do that. I would not be looking at any respective stock and saying one governor said this, let's trade it up. No, because those governors are very conflicting in the data. I would not buy into any particular stock based upon a generality of the entire sector either, because you saw these sectors this morning. Target miss, Walmart beat. How about over to higher end? Macy's beat, Kohl's miss, Williams-Sonoma beat, Gap beat. Very, very confusing data. This doesn't actually show any consistent line across the board. Earlier this year, we were able to do things like, say, Dollar General and Dollar Tree miss, because coming off a lockdown, you weren't buying a suit at Dollar General. You were going to Macy's and Nordstrom's to buy a suit to come off of lockdown. And that's why they beat at the time. At the moment, I don't have anything that I can say that is consistent from a Kohl's to a Gap to a Target to a Ross department store. There's nothing I can sit back. Maybe you can. Maybe you can in the live chat. Maybe there's something you see consistent among those retailers that shows why some are being, why some are missing. But other than that, it's really too difficult. Finally, what's very important to say, because I haven't said it before, is that the market has already experienced since September a 10% run up. A 10% run up of stocks, appreciation of stocks since September, is unusual. Why? We're in a bear market. Bear market means down, bull market means up. And usually when you enter into late October, November, December, and especially December, you have a Santa Claus rally. The Santa Claus rally starts in December and ends in January. But the rally has already been going on in a bear market since September. So hold up. Could there still be a Santa Claus rally on top of a 10% run up since September in a bear downward market? Yes or no? I want to see your answer right in the live chat. I want to see what you're predicting. Do you believe that the market could still go up in a Santa Claus rally in December, which always generally happens, even though we've already had a 10% run up since September of stocks in a bear market? It's as though saying, wait, are we going to go at 20% since September with a Santa Claus rally in place? Jump in the live chat. I want to see the answers from you, yes or no. Do you think we can go up any more than we are? Or do you think it's going to lose steam where we are across the board? What's important to understand is that this is really important. One viewer in the live chat saying right now, no. And another viewer saying, I want that tablet. Absolutely. I want that tablet. It is absolutely incredible. So what's important to understand is that I don't think that a traditional Santa Claus rally may be as sustainable as we would once thought a few weeks ago. The fact that we have run up so much in September, up 10% this market in a bear market, leads me to question, can we go up another 10% in the month of December? I mean, that would be 20% up since September in a bear market because of Santa Claus rally. We generally always have Santa Claus rallies, number one. We generally don't go up 20% in a bear market. So one of the not normal things is going to have to change. Which one is it? Hard to tell. And of course, that's why we're here every mornings on air. Thank you for joining me for the second episode of Wall Street Live that also airs this afternoon's LALATE on LALATE1. Wall Street Live every morning at about 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on LA3 and afternoons LA every day at 3 o'clock from the shores of Santa Monica, California. It's been a beautiful, beautiful day, and thank you for joining me across the board. I'll see you next up on mornings on LATE1. If you're watching me live, that's coming up in just a second. Make sure you become a member because this is the money you need to get. It's a confusing economy, and it's only going to get even more confusing. For the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next on LATE1 on Mornings Live.